Hey everyone, welcome to Shoot On. We just got back from testing Taurus's new G3c. This is the replacement, or probably soon will be the replacement for their G2c. That's their compact 9mm. Now this one just came out today. This is June 15th, so they just released it, and we were fortunate enough to get a pre-production model. So we've been testing it for a few weeks now, and we're really anxious to get our hands on it to see what changes Taurus had for their third generation of this firearm. Now, the G2c has been very popular since it was released about 7 years ago, and it's gone through a few iterations since then. But for the price and the performance and its durability, this has been very popular for the concealed carry crowd, or the EDC crowd, and it's for good reason. The price is really favorable for the performance that it delivers. So last year Taurus came out with their G3. That is basically their it was their full-size version of the G2. You know, a lot of people loved the G2, but some folks just like a full-size pistol, even for daily carry. So Taurus answered that with their G3. So now they've kind of taken some of the DNA from the G3 and applied it to the third generation of their compact pistol. So this is called the G3c, and we've actually been carrying the G2 for probably about 4 years as our everyday carry gun. Again, simply because it's small, but it does run well, works great, and so we're anxious to see how the new version, the G3c, was going to stack up against the G2. So let's take a little closer look at the new model first, and then we'll do a comparison to show you what the differences are. Well, as you can see, the new Taurus G3c is a polymer frame pistol, 9mm semi-auto, of course. It's got a restrike capability. Show that we are empty. Anyway, it's got a restrike capability, so you know, you have a light primer strike, you can pull the trigger back and give it another go. Pretty straightforward stuff when you're comparing this to the G2c, but in reality, this is an all-new platform. New molds that were needed for this. You got a new slide and the new trigger, completely different trigger system, and there are a few other changes. Gone is the mechanical chamber indicator. As you can see, it's gone, replaced with just a sight hole. So if you got a round in the breech, you will be able to see the brass. Overall, it is an improvement, we think. There's some differences in the memory pads, the grip stippling, and again, the trigger is really an upgrade. It's a lot smoother, a lot crisper. The pull is not as long as the G2c, so it's not, you know, a lot of times when you've got single action only pistols, by the time you get way back here, a lot of people are kind of canning the pistol. You're losing your sight picture and throwing things off. Having a little bit shorter pull before you hit to the brake, it really does help a lot with accuracy. Anyway, it looks great. There is a, you know, well, let's just go ahead and do a comparison between the G3c, the new one, and its predecessor, the G2. So as you can see at first glance, they are, wow, almost identical. But when you start diving into the weeds, you'll see where the differences are. So we'll just work from the bottom of the grip. First, you'll notice that there's a scallop right here. That is intended to say if you got some grit, grime, whatever, you got to hang up in your mag whenever you're dropping it. It just gives you a little something extra to pull down. Now, we've never had any problem dropping a mag from our G2. Good spring pressure really puts it out. But anyway, that is one of the changes. Now, if you look closely, you'll see that the stippling patches in the same general area, same general shape, but they're actually a bit larger on the side panels, and ditto for the front. Again, you probably can't tell just looking at the video here, but it's a bit longer and there's just a lot more purchase. The backstrap stippling is a little bit longer also on the G3. All that's great, but what you really notice as soon as you grab this is how much more aggressive the stippling is on the G3 than it is the G2. Nothing wrong with this one, but I was trying to figure out, well, why is it so sticky? Because it's the same type of relief pattern or stippling pattern, and just a little bit bigger, but it grips a whole lot better. And looking at it from the side, you see that the stippling is actually raised up above, just a little bit above the platform or the flat areas of the frame. So basically it's coming out at you and grabbing your fingers or your hands, whatever, and it does it a lot better than the original, which is a little bit more flush with the frame, it looks like. Of course, we've been carrying this for 4 years. Might be we've just worn it down, but whatever, you grab this now and you feel it. You'll also notice that, we'll keep these things on the right side here. So the G3, you'll see a little bit larger on the memory pads, a little bit more crisp in the edging, and the shelf is a little bit more prominent. This may or may not help a lot of you. We tend to definitely have a good position when we're holding on the thumb memory pad, not so much up here on the front. But anyway, it's a good locator, helps keep you consistent with your shooting. So those are two big things. You can also see the trigger. Now, the new trigger has a much flatter face to it, and a lot of people like that. The old version, a little bit more rounded, and has a lot longer of a pull before the break comes in. Now, we put this on the Lyman scale, and the new one is running, I think we had about a 4 pound and somewhere between 4 pounds 5 ounces and 4 pounds 9 ounces, or 0.9 ounces. So anyway, it breaks really great, loving it. Black oxide for the slide finish on the old version. The new version comes with a tenifer finish, and then Taurus decided to go with that because they thought it would help with not only wear resistance but also corrosion. As you can see, we've been carrying this one a lot, and we've got a lot of wear marks starting to pop up here and there. Another finish change or an upgrade that Taurus did with the G3 was apply Teflon to the controls. So the safety lever, slide release, and the disassembly levers all have a Teflon coating. Now, it's hard to really tell, does that make a difference in terms of friction? Supposedly it does. We can tell you that it is it is very much more noticeable how much easier it is to flip the safety lever on the G3 than it is our G2. So better friction coefficient, must be. It seems to work anyway. A new change is the rear sight. So the G3 has been milled with the dovetail so that it can accept aftermarket sights. Not that you couldn't find some, TrueGlow for one, I know has a lot of aftermarket sights for the G2, and that's what we've got on here. But as you can see, it's unique. You got a lot more options when you have rear sights, tritium sights that are machined to fit a Glock slide dovetail. So that's what Taurus did with this one. Instead of using their proprietary size, they decided to go with a dovetail cut that is going to accommodate that broader range of aftermarket sights. So most likely, serious shooters will usually upgrade to a tritium sight because you're shooting in the dark, at home, at night. You need that visibility. So easy to get your aftermarket sight upgrades with this. You also notice that there's been a change to the slide configuration. You've got serrations up front now, where before we did not have. You had this scoop, this scallop up here. That's gone. It's a lot more square looking. Actually like it, but this is the exact same slide profile as the G3, the full-size version. So you're seeing a little bit of an alignment between Taurus's compact and they're full size when you compare the two. So those are the primary changes. Dimensionally, these are identical according to the spec sheet. We didn't put a caliper on it, but they're width, height, everything. They both have a 3.2 length barrel. Barrels look identical. There's no other changes really dimensionally. In fact, the magazines from the G2 do work in the G3 or G3c. We tried it. So if you got extra mags, if you buy this, okay, you can still run more mags. So that is the big picture of the new G3c. Now we ran several ammo through it. We had some of our own hand loads. We ran some Fiocchi, Black Hills, and Magtech, shooting 10 yards. And our best group came from the Black Hills. This was a 1.206 group, 10 yards, and we gave two 10-round or two 5-round strings for each ammo. And interestingly, the Black Hills shot exactly the same. We measured this one and our other 5-shot string, both of them 1.206 inches. And the rest of them varied from there out to, I believe it was, I don't know if we had a 2-inch anywhere. I think there were a 1.8. Yeah, we had a 2.085. But overall, from a semi-auto 3.2-inch barrel, this thing is rocking. We had no failures to feed, eject, and no malfunctions whatsoever. It just kept running as its predecessor, the G3c, did. So very pleased with this. Interestingly, this is going to be priced only about $34, $35 more than the G3c. So you're getting a lot of upgrade for just a few bucks more. So Taurus is wisely keeping the price down on this. It makes it more affordable. So we're probably going to guess if you got a 305 MSRP, which is what we have here for the G3c, street retail, you're probably looking at somewhere between the 270, 280 range. So 12-shot, 9mm, compact, proven performance. Again, it's not too far off from where we were with the G3c, and this thing has seen a lot of action. Same basic setup, excellent performance for the price. I think this is going to be a home run for Taurus. So first chance you get, check it out. If you're a fan of Taurus, you're probably going to be a fan of their new 3rd generation in the G series. So this is the G3c. Go check it out.